A kinetic strike on a single critical node of physical infrastructure can instantly paralyze vast interconnected global systems. In July 2026, the global energy market experienced a sudden cascading shock. This graphic captures the immediate metric of the panic. Asian liquefied natural gas spot prices surged by 130% in a matter of days. Simultaneously, the cost of Brent crude spiked, climbing past the $90 per barrel threshold. Market reaction moved faster than the systems designed to monitor it. Trading algorithms and human analysts alike struggled to price in a risk profile that appeared out of nowhere. This chart shows the pricing curve going nearly vertical. For major energy importing nations, the impact was immediate, forcing economists to scrap their forecasts and revise inflation models sharply upward. The global energy market behaved like a circuit hitting a dead short, reacting with instant violence to a precise, localized strike. As energy prices exploded, a parallel collapse occurred in maritime logistics, driven by the international group of P&I clubs. These protection and indemnity clubs are the financial bedrock of global shipping, underwriting liability coverage for approximately 90% of the world's commercial maritime fleet. This diagram illustrates their response. As shown in the upper tiers, major underwriters unilaterally withdrew war risk coverage for any vessel operating in the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Sea. That withdrawal created the financial trap shown at the bottom of the funnel. Shipping lines were forced into emergency buyback programs, where premiums reached $200 million per single voyage. Faced with these costs, major maritime conglomerates made a simple calculation. Rather than pay the premiums, they halted their transits. This dashboard shows the physical result. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz recorded an 81. Financial contagion had turned a strike in the eastern Mediterranean into a logistical blockade of the Persian Gulf. To find the origin of the shock, this map shifts our focus to the coastline of Egypt. The triggering event occurred at Damietta Port on the evening of July 29, 2026. The primary target was the Energos Winter, a floating storage regasification unit, or FSRU. Caught in the immediate crossfire was a secondary vessel, the GasLog Salem, an LNG carrier actively offloading its cargo into the terminal. The precise vector of attack was a loitering munition, a tactical drone that successfully bypassed all local air defense arrays. This schematic traces the moment of impact. The drone struck the FSRU during active transfer operations, detonating between the two moored vessels. The munition achieved a direct hit on a highly volatile cargo transfer, yet the catastrophic secondary explosion the attackers intended never materialized. This technical readout explains why the port survived. It details the Emergency Shutdown, or ESD system, an automated frontline defense built into the transfer architecture. In Stage 1, onboard sensors detected a 5-meter physical deviation between the hulls of the two ships, caused by the blast wave. In milliseconds, ESD-1 triggered, killing the transfer pumps and slamming the valves shut to halt the flow of combustible fuel. As the ships drifted further apart, hitting a critical 7-meter deviation, Stage 2 engaged. This triggered a mechanical dry break sequence. The transfer hoses forcibly severed themselves, physically isolating the two ships to prevent the lines from feeding the fire. Mechanical separation stopped the active gas flow, but a massive external fire raged against the FSRU hull, threatening the hyper-cooled cargo trapped inside. If the liquid natural gas inside that hull heated up and expanded, it would trigger a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion, a BLEEF. This cross-section highlights the vessel's last line of defense against a BLEEF, the GTT number 96-2 containment membrane. The interior of the tank is lined with a 0.7mm Invar alloy, backed by reinforced insulation. The physics of the Invar alloy saved the ship. It possesses a near-zero thermal expansion coefficient, allowing it to resist the extreme external heat of the fire without buckling. Despite being engulfed in flames on the outside, this membrane successfully maintained the internal LNG cargo at a stable -162 degrees Celsius. Because of this cryogenic containment, there were 0 casualties among the crews and 0 kinetic damage to the port. The containment system successfully prioritized human life and port safety, but the physical destruction of the FSRU remained total. Consequently, Egypt was left without its primary import terminal, plunging the national energy grid into an immediate crisis. This intelligence map outlines the motive behind the strike. Decrypted intercepts tied the attack to an Iranian retaliation for a prior maritime strike in the Caspian Sea. The attackers framed the Damietta terminal as a vital gateway for European gas exports. This geographic map illustrates the result. The strike represents an expansion of the active conflict zone. The established boundaries of the terminus and proxy warfare have broken out of the Persian Gulf and moved directly into the Mediterranean theater. State actors have realized they do not need to assemble armadas to blockade oceans. Surgically targeting a single critical maritime node yields the exact same geopolitical leverage. For Egypt, the loss of the Energos winter hit as the nation transitioned into a heavy energy importer, requiring 160 specific LNG cargoes to meet domestic demand through 2028. The loss of the terminal created a supply vacuum. Cairo was forced to shut down industrial fertilizer plants and faced severe instability across the national power grid. This diagram illustrates the geopolitical trap that snapped shut. To keep the lights on, Egypt was forced into absolute reliance on imports from Israeli gas fields, specifically Tamar and Leviathan. As domestic reserves plummeted, Cairo executed emergency measures, rerouting shipments via Jordan's FSRU. When physical infrastructure is this fragile, it strips a nation of its diplomatic leverage. Foreign policy alignment becomes dictated by energy survival. The cascade is entirely interconnected. A drone hits an Egyptian ship. London underwriters hike their premiums. Asian markets plunge into a panic. Kinetic warfare no longer requires the destruction of entire naval fleets. Removing one critical FSRU node proves that asymmetric warfare can weaponize regional dependencies and fracture global supply chains with surgical precision.